Hello again, I'm Aarti Kamraj, product marketer of Zoho PageSense, and today I'm going to be talking about how you can maximize conversions on your Shopify store using Zoho PageSense. So this is the agenda for today. We'll start with a brief introduction to CRO and Zoho PageSense, along with the biggest Shopify challenges that owners face on a daily basis, that is conversions. I've also come up with 6 challenges sourced active in the Shopify forum, and we'll be coming up with different strategies on how to solve them with this integration. And I have Malati, a product expert, with us to give a detailed integration walkthrough. And towards the end, we'll also have a live Q&A session to answer all your queries. So what is conversion rate optimization? When it comes to conversions from an e-commerce point of view, it can mean increasing add to cart button clicks, or when a visitor makes a purchase, or even boosting traffic to a specific category page. So conversion rate optimization is the process of improving the percentage of visitors who take these desired actions. It can start with analyzing user behavior or identifying areas for improvement and implementing strategies for increased conversions. And these strategies include optimizing the website design, content, user experience, and marketing efforts. So anything and everything that pushes the visitor's button to make the desired action. And that's exactly what PageSense does. The Zoho PageSense is a CRO and personalization platform, and we have everything you need to help with website optimization, engagement, experimentation, and user experience. And it's also the only platform out there that offers 10 plus CRO tools. And don't worry, I'm not going to be all salesy and take a deep dive into the features right away, because today's topic is all about how you can leverage with this integration. So I was looking at the Shopify forum, and when I was actually prepping for the webinar, I also noticed how many store owners are still struggling to drive these conversions despite all their hard work and effort. So I tried Googling for Shopify stats to add more depth into it. And it said that Shopify success rate of e-commerce stores ranges from 5 to 10%. And only 5 to 10 out of every 100 Shopify-powered stores achieve success. Another stats came up that said around 81% of Shopify merchants remain active and profitable after a few years. And honestly speaking, just because you opted for Shopify to build an online store, it doesn't mean that this platform will grant you 5 to 10% chance of success, right? The same principle applies to other e-commerce platforms, including Zoho Commerce, Magento, WooCommerce, or whichever platform you choose to build your online store with. Although there are too many blogs and guides out there, including us, that provide you with valuable insights in terms of all the must-dos and don'ts on your online store, there is a saying that every one of you must have come across, right? What worked for them might not work for you. It might be because the target audience and the user behavior varies from industry to industry, right? And for this webinar, I have picked out 6 challenges sourced directly from the Shopify forum that you guys face on a daily basis, and how to fix them using Zoho PageSense. Starting with, why is my online store getting visitors but no sales? So I also found different variations of the same question, like more traffic but no conversions. I did everything I could, but I'm not getting any sales. I don't know what to do. I'm lost. Please help. So to start with, when visitors land on your homepage, you just have 10 to 20 seconds to make a lasting first impression. So the critical window will determine whether they stick around or leave. So if your site's load time is slow, or the layout is confusing, or the visuals are unappealing, or that's when the decision avoidance kicks in. Meaning it's a cognitive bias that causes visitors to delay or avoid making the purchase. So even when they landed on the website with an intent to make the purchase, they will take a step back. So what really matters in these crucial seconds? In the load time, of course, users can't wait. The visuals and clarity of the website, you need to avoid clutter on your website, and a good layout that guides the visitors to walk through the website instead of leaving them frustrated. Your visitors should never find it hard to discover products, so you need to categorize them better. And of course, the trust signals, right? Like security badges, customer testimonials, and clear contact information. It also includes return or refund policies if you have any, plus all the shipping and delivery information that instills confidence for engaging the visitors further. And if you have too many technical drawbacks, like if you have broken CTAs or links, especially when the visitor spots a product that really interests him, and when he clicks on it, it takes them to another page that's broken, or the page isn't available, or it's an error page, error 404 found. So, and if your landing page and ads aren't connected. So, for example, let's say your ad copy say, get your kids toys here, but it takes them to a furniture category page. So obviously that will make them want to leave. I have come across few paid campaigns that, redirects me to an error page or a page that doesn't exist, like this one. There's an ad campaign that I found on Instagram, and I clicked on the CTA. It took me to a broken link. You can imagine the amount of money they must have spent on these retargeting ads, right? So to start with, you can choose a page with high bounce rate or a very low average session duration. That is the amount of time a visitor spend on your page. You can also keep an eye on the pages with high exit intent. And this KPI will show you which pages users are leaving your site from. And so if you have users exiting from your home page or other key pages, it may indicate issues with content usability or clarity. So this is how the PageSense Web Analytics module look like. And can you see the goal completion rate that I have marked here? So this will come in handy if you want to track the performance of your pages. So you design your web page with a goal in mind, right? It can be to increase your website engagement, or to inform customers about new product launch, or to increase your add to cart button clicks, right? So you can actually track them by configuring it on your PageSense goals module. And this way you can easily measure your page performance. Let's take the example of the ad that I showed you earlier, the Instagram ad. So with PageSense goals, you can actually track how visitors from the campaign behave on the website. And by setting goals tied to specific actions like product views, add to cart events, or conversions, you can analyze the campaign effectiveness and refine the targeting better. Number 2, what if your bounce rate is high despite of fast loading times? Even if you have everything in check, what to do if your bounce rate is high? So one key issue that can really affect your store's performance is attracting the wrong audience. This in turn leads to a mismatch between what visitors expect and what your store offers, right? For example, visitors may come looking for something you don't sell, with that expectation that you do, or leave without finding what they need. This can be due to bad content, meaning your content is poorly written, irrelevant, or confusing, which can cause people to quickly leave their website. On top of that, a poor user experience like difficult navigation can push people away, even if they are interested in making a purchase. So in cases like these, metrics won't help. You need behavioral data. That is, you need more than just metrics and numbers. And that's where heat map, session recording, and funnel analysis will step in. And these 3 tools are all you need to identify and fix whatever is causing these drop-offs. So when you're standing among numbers, always start with the conversion funnel. And conversion funnel basically helps you identify at which page visitors fail to convert. So you can start by coming up with multiple visitor paths that leads to conversion or leads to purchases. For example, you can design a clear path. Let's say from home page, they go to festive sale, and then they go to add to cart, and then the order confirmation page. So this is your conversion funnel, right? So once you map your visitor's journey, you get a clear visual graph of where they actually drop off. Post that, you can choose the page that has high drop-offs and set up a heat map. So with heat maps, you can you get a visual map of how visitors interact with your website. You can verify visitors interact with non-clickable elements and assess the click rates on CTAs. But this is an interesting case study which I came across online. So this company called Task World has a page that was designed specifically for the first-time users, and the main sign-up CTA button got clicked less than the sign-in CTA button at the bottom. You can see the link where there's a red blob right at the bottom. That's the sign-in CTA button. So Task World just analyzed the heat map. They removed the sign-in option and reorganized the CTA. They removed simplified the fields from 5 form fields to just 1. That's the email ID. And with this, the conversion rate increased by 40%, and the drop-offs were reduced by 4.5%. PageSense also offers scroll map and attention map under heat map. So scroll map will show you where exactly users will stop scrolling, giving you a clear picture of how many visitors are actually reaching different sections of your web page. And this insight is super useful because it helps you identify which content is being viewed or seen by your audience. And attention map will help you measure engagement, specifically how much time users spend looking at different sections of your web page. So you'll be able to see which website section gets the most attention. So the warmer colors, red and orange, indicate more attention, and the cooler colors, blue and green, will show you where users spend less time. And these two maps, that is the attention map and the scroll map, will help you find your average fold is. For example, can you see this white line in the middle? So that's your average fold, okay? So finding the average fold on your website is super important for improving your user engagement on your site. Basically, it's where it's the point where most visitors will stop scrolling. What do you do to increase the average fold? So you need to place important information like your value proposition, or key calls, key CTAs, best-selling products, or other enticing visuals about the fold, and this can immediately capture attention and encourage further browsing to the website. Or if a page is too lengthy, it has too much content, it may overwhelm the visitors and cause them to leave early. So the average scroll depth for an e-commerce website is usually between 40 to 60%. So you need to consider breaking down the content to shorter sections of the pages to make it more digestible for the visitors, And PageSense also offers consolidated heat maps. We know that Shopify provides features to create subcategories. You can add product filters to optimize your site structure further. And with this feature, with consolidated heat maps, Shopify users can see exactly how visitors navigate through different categories and filters. And since this menu will be fixed across all the pages, consolidated heat maps combines all the user interaction data. So instead of viewing, individual pages one by one separately, you can view it all together under consolidated heat maps, saving you a lot of time. We have all been there, right? Sometimes we just want to step inside the visitor's shoes and ask them, like, why are you leaving the website without making the purchase? What exactly is causing them to leave, right? Especially if you analyze heat maps, if you're dug into the website analytics, you've done everything that you need to do, but there's still one page that has had a very high exit rate. And you just can't pinpoint to why that happens, right? And that's where session recording steps in. Let me just play the video for you. So with session recording, you can record every visitor interaction with your website and play back the recording to see what your visitors expect, what frustrates them, and which pages they are switching in between. You can also see why your landing page has high drop-offs, or why your contact forms aren't getting submitted by replaying the visitor recordings. And you can find obstacles that block conversions. It can be a misleading CTA, a broken page. It's easier for you to pinpoint and fix the broken elements for a better web experience. So how can you leverage this feature, session recording, on your Shopify store? You can start by setting up events to record clicks. Configure events to capture clicks on key CTAs like buy now or add to cart buttons. And this will allow you to track user interactions with these critical elements. So this way you can identify any friction points that may prevent visitors from completing their purchases. And since those visitors who clicked on the CTAs had the purchase intent, you can easily figure out what stopped them from making the purchase. Number 2, segment recordings by exit pages. So you click on the segment recordings feature and add your exit page URL, that is the order confirmation page, or whatever page that you have noticed from that has high exit intent. So it will automatically filter the list of specific recordings, and this way it's easier for you to observe what users did leading up to their exit. And it's easier for you to understand the patterns or issues such as confusing navigation or whatever is hindering the checkout process. This is how your session recording will look like once you configure it on your website. So this is a list of recordings. It has fun names, anonymous names. And the bonus part is that when you incorporate the custom identify API feature, you can locate visitor sessions based on specific criteria, such as email addresses, and target them with personalized shopping offers, or discount coupons. So by identifying, like these high priority leads, you can send follow-ups to schedule callbacks, you can engage them further, and like these leads have higher chances of conversion, right? Moving on to how can I boost sales with pop-ups. So pop-ups are really good as they help boost user engagement and conversions. So the Zoho survey team also implemented PageSense pop-up tool on their website. They customized the template through our visual editor. So this pop-up, which they had set up on their web page, triggers right when the visitors scroll halfway down the home page. So the team actually ended up collecting good potential leads. The impressions, the engagement, and conversion rate were actually quite impressive. And all these happened not because of a pop-up, because they timed it right. So here are a few examples of how you can implement pop-ups on your website. You can trigger a pop-up after a purchase asking visitors to share their feedback through a quick survey about the shopping experience. You need to focus on key aspects like your product offerings or your site navigation. And this will help you understand the customer satisfaction and also brings out the areas for improvement on your website. Number two, if you notice a visitor, constantly browsing through your athletic wear on the website, but not making any purchase. So you can trigger personalized pop-up. For instance, we could offer discount on the specific athletic gear that they have previously viewed. And this can make customers feel valued and they're more likely to convert, right? Number three, if you have implemented a new Shopify theme on your website, you can always ask for feedback from your visitors. Or let's say someone has been browsing for the past 10 to 15 minutes on your website without checking out, and you can always trigger a pop-up offering 10% discount on the first purchase. So this will engage potential customers and push them further to complete the purchase. Moving on, is 70% abandoned cart high for your online store? I wish I could say that you can also track your checkout page, but no, because Shopify restricts any third-party scripts on your checkout page, meaning you can only track your storefront and order confirmation page. But however, by implementing tools and strategies that I mentioned you earlier, you'll be able to identify most of the obstacles that hinders your conversions. But you do have an option here. You can always implement the exit intent pop-up on your add to cart page, setting trigger as on-page exit. So this will definitely push the let's rethink button on the minds of the visitors. And PageSense, you get access to a library of free customizable templates like these. We also have holiday themes one as well that will match whatever is happening right now. And you can just pick one, add your brand logo, the content of your choice, and then publish it. Moving on to next one, how to decide on discount strategy, numbers, discounts, which one should you go for on your website, right? You can start with A/B testing. So A/B testing is basically comparing two different versions or element on a web page to see which one performs better with your audience. You can test different CTA buttons, website content, layouts, visuals, and more. And you can always implement the same strategy to see which discount strategy works on your website. Start by creating a website variation with a no-code visual editor, whether it's by tweaking headlines, changing button colors, or modifying layouts. You can do all that. You can make any adjustment that you want without any coding skills using a visual editor. Number two, set up a revenue goal. So once your variations are ready, you need to fix your revenue goal. So this goal will act as a benchmark for measuring the success of your A/B test. So by setting this, you can track which variation brings in most revenue, and thereby you have a clearer target to measure against. As for a tracking page, you'll have to choose your order confirmation page, and this is where you will capture the results of your A/B test. And post A/B testing, always analyze the data, look closely at which offer drove most sales. Did one discount type bring in better results or than the other? So you need to assess if any specific discount strategy led to higher average order value. So understanding all these metrics will give you insights into customer preferences and behavior. Moving on to the last one. What services do you recommend for store personalization and user experience? Personalization definitely enhances customer engagement and boosts conversion. So PageSense does offer personalization, and here are some ideas to get you started on your Shopify store. You can start by personalizing your product catalog based on your visitor preferences. Utilize PageSense to analyze user behavior and preferences to display products that resonate with your visitor. For example, if visitors frequently browse athletic gear, showcase rated items such as running shoes, fitness apparel, or accessories on their next visit. So, by recommending the products that are tailored to their interest, you can create more relevant shopping experience, right? Number two, you can always launch exclusive landing pages based on segmentation. So segmenting your audience allows you to cater different customer groups effectively. You can design exclusive landing pages tailored to specific segments such as elite or prime members, and these landing pages can feature personalized offers, curated products, or unique promotions based on users' previous interactions with your store. For instance, an elite landing page might showcase premium products or limited offers, whereas a prime page could focus on discounts and bundle deals. So these are appealing to those who are more price sensitive, right? And this approach will definitely encourage loyalty and repeat purchases. Number three, tailor content based on activity and user information. You can utilize visitor activity and data collected through PageSense to further personalize the shopping experience. For example, if a user has spent a considerable amount of time browsing through a particular category, you can display tailored messaging or promotions related to that category. Also, based on their browsing history and purchases, you can bring out some seasonal collections to align with their preferences. So these are just few examples of personalization strategies that you can implement on a Shopify store. Now I have Malati with us, a product expert, to walk you all through the integration and the product.
Thank you, Aarti.
Over to you, Malati.
Thank you, Aarti. So hello, everyone. Once again, I welcome you all to this webinar. So in the next 30 minutes, I'll be talking a deep detail about what are all the different set of features Zoho PageSense offers and how you can integrate your Shopify storefront with PageSense application in order to optimize it for a better conversion. So let me quickly start sharing my screen, and I hope the screen is visible. Yeah. So before we getting started with PageSense, so as soon as you sign up for Zoho PageSense after completing a set of onboarding steps, you will be given with a default space where you can create multiple projects based on the subscription you have opted for. And each project you can connect your storefront or connect one website with it to start experimenting in detail about your website in detail. So let me quickly open one of the projects which I have created for this webinar, where you can see on the left panel the list of modules which PageSense offers, and on the right top corner you can see the number of settings which PageSense offers as well. So to begin with, when it comes to a CRO tool or any CRO application to track the website visitors' performance, so it is always to start with adding the tracking code to your website. So you can find the PageSense tracking code under the snippet section, and this snippet is going to be unique for each and every project you create inside the PageSense application. So you have to copy this code, and you can go to your Shopify storefront, go to your online store under themes. You will have an option to include this code by editing your theme code. And right below the header tag, please paste the PageSense tracking code to begin the tracking process to analyze the website behaviors inside the application. So as we all know, Shopify has a certain limitation as it tracks only all the pages except the checkout process. However, to track the order confirmation pages, so you will be requested to add the same tracking code in one more place under the Shopify storefront. So for that, we suggest you to go to the settings part. Please go to the custom date, custom events, and you can just click on this add custom pixel, and add the tracking code right in the specified format. So this is readily available in our knowledge base where you can just copy paste the code and add it in the checkout area. So once the code snippet is added to your Shopify storefront, so even before getting started creating any experimentation inside the application, you will start to see the analytics and the behavior report of your website. From which source you are driving a lot of website visitors for your business. Which page in your website is behaving a lot, and which page has a lot of landing pages, and which page has a lot of bounce rates as well. So basically, acquisition helps you to understand the source data, medium, and from which channel you are getting a lot of visitors and their sessions up with your website. And as I mentioned, you can see which page has used as a landing page more under the behavior report, and which page has used exit page more in the behavior part itself. So here you can easily analyze how many session each page has got, by how many unique visitors, and what is the average duration spent on your website in one place. There are common features available across all the modules inside the application. So they are date picker, where you can just drill down your report based on your customized date range. You can also segment your report for multiple audiences. Let's say you wanted to view the report only for the visitors from a specific country or from a specific browser. You can make use of a preset segmentation. And in the advanced segmentation, you can choose the segment option according to your requirement with and or logical operation. So whenever you create any advanced segmentation, you will have an option to save them where you can just reuse it again and again, where you need not want to create it again. And there is one more option called like export, where you can export the data in the CSV format. So now moving into the different modules which PageSense offers. So starting with track, it comes up with goals and funnel analysis experimentation. Analyze, you will be able to analyze your website using heat map, form analytics, and session recording. Under optimize, we have A/B test and split URL test, personalization, and finally, we help you to engage with your website visitors using polls, push notifications, and pop-ups. So let's dive deep into each feature and understand how it can be configured and what are all the results you get out of it. So starting with goals. So goals helps you to define a specific part where how exactly each element of your website is interacted. So it allows you to understand how your website visitors are achieving the key objectives which you have created in your website. So let's take a quick example of this website where you can see there are like few CTAs like shop all and a login button. And if I scroll down, I could see a view product CTA as well. So these are all considered as a key metrics where I can define a goal and understand how exactly the CTAs are getting interacted among the website visitors, how many are actually getting converted. PageSense offers 4 different kinds of project goals. To track any specific element or a button, you can configure an element click, or if you would like to understand the page redirection, how many are coming to home page and navigating to the product page, you can configure a link click goal, and you can understand how long a visitor is staying on a page by creating a time spent on page goal. And PageSense also helps you to configure goals for certain dynamic elements which doesn't reloads or which doesn't have a definite ID as well. So let me quickly open one of the configuration. So here is where we have created a goal for a homepage view product button. So you have to provide where exactly the button is present. The URL has to be added here. And you always have an option to target this experimentation for the entire website as well. So with this advanced URL targeting, if that CTA is available across all the pages, you can go with these available match type options like URL contains or starts with and target this experimentation in one place. So we'll help you with the element selector where we'll help you to load the website right inside, and you can just select the element which you would like to track here. So it gets automatically appended in this elements to track part. So once everything is configured, we are good to go and you can launch the experiment. And under the goal metrics, you can understand how many visitors have reached the experimental URL. Out of them, how many have interacted with the goal which you have created, what is the conversion rate, and how long it took for a visitors to get converted for the specified duration. And under goals, you have one additional feature in the date picker part where you can compare the date ranges, compare the report for two different ranges, how exactly the conversions are happening. And these are the other infographic metrics where you can just understand the goal metrics over specified time, the source based, visitor based, and the top engaged web pages report along with the device performance metric as well. So moving into the funnel analysis experiment. So this feature tracks the each and every step visitor take towards a conversion page, or and identify where exactly they are facing drop off as well. So when it comes to any e-commerce website, the end goal is going to be how many are successfully completing and reaching the order confirmation page. So similarly, I have created 4 different series of funnel analysis with different steps where the end goal is getting to the order confirmation page. So here, if you notice, there are like 6 different steps to reach the final page and 5, 3, and 4. So out of these 4 configuration, I could see the first experiment, the purchase completed funnel has got like higher conversion rate compared to the others. So let's just check the configuration, how it has been configured, and the reporting part followed by that. So in the funnel analysis, we help you to configure step-by-step process where you can define which path might customer take in this series. So here I have provided my homepage URL. From there, they have to navigate to product page and then checkout, finally to the order confirmation page. So once the steps are configured, in the reporting part, I can easily analyze how exactly the visitors are navigating between these steps which I have configured. And I can understand between home page to product page, there are like 86.67% of drop off. So this gives me a clear picture, helps in optimizing my conversion path and analyze where exactly or which step needs improvement. So moving into the analyze module, so starting with heat map. So it is nothing but a visual representation where the visitors are clicking or scrolling or staying for how long on a specific fold of your web page. So it helps to understand in detail which area of the page has got a lot of attention, which part of the page has got very least attention. So the configuration of heat map starts by providing which set of URL need to be tracked and how many visitors you want to track in this experiment. So this is going to be very simple configuration. Once the URL and the number of visitors are provided, you can launch the experiment and view the report in detail. So heat map offers 3 different reports starting with heat map, scroll map, and as well as attention map. So let's say like if you are configuring a heat map for the entire website, so likewise how we are viewing now, you will be able to see the list of top 100 pages in one shot, and you can easily see like how many pages, like which page has got highest visits and click per visit as well. So let me open one of the URLs where the website will be loaded inside the heat map report with the click impressions. So if you notice, like this contact button has got like 7 clicks, where the engagement is like 20.59%. And if we scroll down, I could see there are multiple clicks happening in different parts of the elements in the website. And on the right hand side, you can see the page based stats, like how many visitors and what is the engagement percentage for the specified time, along with the top engagement list as well. You can toggle between different devices like desktop, tablet, and mobile to understand the click and tap rates. And let's say you wanted to view the report for the pages beyond login session. You can just click on this redirect to Chrome extension button. It will take you to a browser where exactly the Chrome extension has been installed. And you can view the heat map on your live browser. By enabling this consolidated heat map, you will be able to view the clicks happened on the common areas across all the pages in your website in one shot. So this gives you a clear picture, like wherever you have a common place in your website, like a header or footer, what are all the clicks and how many clicks have happened. You can just view them in one place. And you also have an option to share your report with a password protected link to your colleagues where they can also view the same inside what exactly is going wrong. You can also share it with your organization head in this way as well. Next comes the form analytics. So form analytics provides you a detailed insight how user interacts with the website form. And it also helps you to understand how many successful form submissions are happening, how many submissions are getting abandoned, and the total time and hesitation time provided by the visitor to fill a specific field. So the entire end-to-end form related picture can be analyzed using form analytics experimentation. So if you notice in my website, even I also have a form where in the contact page, and it has like 4 different fields. So I can understand how many are actually visiting this page first, how many are starting to interact, and how many are successfully submitting it. So how I can do that inside the form analytics and PageSense. So when you start creating a form, so just provide where exactly the form is present first, and you will have an option to fetch the form details, select the form which you wanted to track in this experiment, followed by that, if the submit button has a thank you page, provide the thank you page URL. If it reloads within the page, you can go with this custom option where we help you with a 2-line custom event code that has to be added in the post Ajax request of that specific CTA, and this can be done with the help of your development team. So once the configurations are done, in the reporting part, you can see the form level metrics as well as field level metrics in one place. So let's first see like how overall form is getting performed. I can see how many visitors reached the form page and how many total number of visits, which means how many visitors revisited the page, how many started to interact with the form, how many have successfully completed, and how many have then submit the form even though they have made some input in certain fields. And along with that, you also see the form metrics over different time ranges, the successful and the failure submission, along with this, the average time which they took to submit the form as well. Under the field level metrics, you can see how each field in the form is behaving. So it starts with focus as like if anyone making a click on that specific field, and interaction is something when they start to type, and if they're going beyond the form and then revisiting and typing again, they comes under the refocuses. If they are making any editing or corrections to that specific field value, it comes under the correction. If the field is left blank, they will be under drop off. Along with that, you can also see the filled and the blank field metrics, and the total time and the hesitation time took by the visitor to complete the field value as well. Moving into the session recording experimentation. So this feature is a very interesting feature where it helps you to record the visitor session so you can view how they navigate throughout your website. So this specific feature helps you to understand the usability issue or the bottlenecks which visitors are experiencing with your website. So let's get started with how to configure this as well. So you have to provide which set of pages need to be a part of this experimentation. Either you wanted a recording of end-to-end customer interaction or only a specific page interaction, and also select how many number of recordings you would like to track. And in the audience segmentation part, from this feature in PageSense, you also have an option to target an experiment based on a specific group of audience apart from all visitors. PageSense offers preset set of segmentation where you can target your audiences using these values, or you can also customize your audience. Let's say you wanted to run this experiment only for the visitors coming from a specific campaign. So let me just provide a campaign name. If the campaign name is like ABC, so only the visitor who are reaching your website with this specific UTM parameter will be a part of this experiment. So you can target your audience based on your preferred customization. And next comes the privacy. Zoho PageSense adhere to GDPR, where if any customer providing any inputs in your website, it will be masked by default, where you will not be able to see their inputs in the recording playback. Along with that, if you would like to mask certain elements in the recording playback, you can make use of this option, elements to mask, and select the element which you do not want to see in the recording playback part. So once the basic configurations are done and you're good to launch the experiment, once you start to collect data in the session recording, you will be able to see the list of recording captured in this area with the details like anonymous visitor name and how long the recording duration is, if any of the project goals are achieved, and how many unique pages they have visited, and the other informations like from which device, which OS, which browser, and from which country the visitor is accessing your website. So let me quickly open one of the recordings to see how my website is actually looking inside the recording playback and what are all the activities visitor has to queue. So in the recording playback, on the top panel, you can see how many pages the customer have navigated. And here you can see have an option to skip the process to understand where exactly the clicks are happening, which ignores the pause which made by the customer. And on the right hand side, you can see what are all the events customer did, which means where exactly they made a click or where exactly they have scrolled it. So you can understand their mouse movements, where they go as well. And if you wanted to bookmark this recording, you have an option to tag a recording. Just provide a keyword and just hit on enter. So this recording will be automatically associated with this tag. And this is a manual process where we also help you with an automated tag with 2-line code snippet need to be added on a specific element. And if a visitor is interacting on that element, that tag will be automatically appended to the recording. And here you can see like you always have an option to flag a recording, which means the flagged recording will always be available until your retention period. And the unflagged recording will be automatically deleted after 90 days of the recording creation time. And you can also share a recording using the share option to your colleagues. And let's say like I could see a very a random name under the visitor name. If I wanted to look into who exactly the visitor is, to identify the visitor's identity, I can make use of our PageSense identifier API. With the help of your development team, you can add our identifier API in your website and pass the relevant variable where it has to be replaced with an anonymous name. It could be an email address, or it could be a customer ID, or it could be any of the specific field value which you would like to view inside the PageSense application. And yeah, this is all about the track and analyze module in Zoho PageSense. So with these analysis, you can come to a conclusion like certain things which you have configured are going right in a perfect way, where certain features or certain things in your website need some attention. So before making them live or before making any changes live based on these analysis, it is always good to have an hypothesis and testing it inside an optimized feature under A/B test or split URL test. So this is a way where you can just test if the changes are actually welcomed among your website visitors, and later you can make the changes live in your website. So under Optimize, we have two different features which I mentioned, A/B test and split URL test. So these two features allows you to test different version of your web page to view which is performing better. So this is very useful for experimenting with different layouts, different text, or different content, or different design elements as well. So let's get started with how to configure an A/B test and what are all the results which we will be getting out of this. We have to start which set of pages need to be used in the A/B testing. So either a home page or a set of pages. So here I'm going to experiment my home page. So in A/B test, since it doesn't have any additional URL to compare with, so this is going to compare against the variation which we are going to create using our PageSense visual editor. So you have an option to create multiple variation where each variation can have different modifications. So in this part, if you could see, like I have made changes to this banner and the text and a color of this contact button. If you want to make some additional changes, just make a click on an element a floating toolbar appears where you can edit the style, insert the HTML or text, or insert any images or background images. And you can also edit the existing content and make use of our Ask Zia to enhance the content with the help of our OpenAI integrations as well. And you can move certain elements, hide or remove, and you can also define a goal with the help of Visual Editor itself. So whatever changes which we do inside the Visual Editor will be automatically updated in the coding format under JS. And if you want to make any variation changes, or if you wanted to conduct A/B test experimentation for the pages beyond login session, you can always use our Chrome extension feature, where it helps you to load your website on the browser along with the visual editor, and you can make changes on the live browser itself. So you get all set of tools option what we saw inside the application as well. And you can toggle between devices. And let's say you have multiple variation and you want one change to append in all of your variants. You can define the code right here, which will be applied to all the variants, and it is going to be common. You can toggle between edit if you want to make changes, and you can click on interact, where this visual editor will turn as a browser where you can navigate between the pages. So once the configuration, like the changes are done, so next comes the goals configuration part, which is going to be a heart to declare which is actually winning this experimentation. So goals are nothing but in A/B test as well as in split URL test, it helps you to define which is the winning variation based on the number of visitors you got for the specific variant, and out of how many have converted as or completed a set goal. Along with the project goal, under A/B test and split URL test, you get 3 additional goals option, which are page views, revenue goal, and the engagement goal. So to understand how many visitors are successfully completing the purchase from A/B test and split URL test, you can configure a revenue tracking goal, where we help you with the revenue tracking code. And for Shopify storefront, we have configured an exclusive code set snippet where the Shopify's order total, where it holds the revenue amount, is automatically appended there. So you have to just copy the code from our knowledge base and add it in your code snippet area itself. So again, click on the settings, customer events, go to the PageSense code snippet where you have added for the checkout page, and please paste the revenue tracking code right below the code snippet. So this helps you to push the revenue information from Shopify to Zoho PageSense directly. And based on the number of visitors and based on the number of purchases customers are made, you can able to identify which is actually winning the variation. And next comes the audience targeting, where you can set how many percentage of audience can be a part of this experiment. And you can target this experiment for a specific group or for all visitors as well. And in the configuration part, you can configure how exactly, like how many percentage of visitor need to see the original, which is the real website which is live, and how many should see the variation which you have created using the visual editor. So once the traffic split is set, next comes the experimental method. So the results in PageSense, A/B test, and split URL test are declared based on the statistical approach which we take here. So either you can opt for Bayesian method, which calculates, this method is always calculates like it predicts A is performing better than B, and based on the prior and posterior information which we have in our hand. Whereas frequentist method helps you to declare a result based on the statistical significance which you choose. So if you're going with this quick trends, the experimentation will run for a specific, for a shorter time period, and helps you with the 90% of accurate result. And for optimal, you get 95% of result. And for high accuracy, you can see 99% of result. So this means the longer you run the experiment, you get higher the accuracy, and you can go ahead and declare or make changes based upon the winning variation. And you can activate this experiment in 3 different ways. Either you can activate on page load, or activate them manually by just copying this code on any specific element, or activate on a satisfying condition if you do not have access for the Shopify storefront coding part. So you can write your code here, and if this logic is getting satisfied, the experiment will be triggered. And Since variation doesn't come with any specific URL, you can enable this heat map option inside A/B test, where you can view the heat map reports inside the A/B testing reporting part itself. And you can schedule this experiment for later. And if you want to push the A/B test information which you gathered to a different application like Google Analytics, Metrics, Mixpanel, and Amplitude, you can enable these integration and push these data for a detailed analysis. And in the summary part, you can easily understand what are all the configurations you have done so far. And before launching it, always make a test. Make use of this launch QA mode and understand if the variation changes are applied rightly and if it will be executed correctly. So you will be able to see a QA mode right here, and the experimental name will be displayed where you can just toggle between original and variation to see the changes are applied or not. And you can toggle between devices as well. So now we are going to launch this experiment. So as soon as we start to collect a data for a specific time period, you will be able to see the overview stat, like how many visitors are part of this experimentation and how many variants we have created, when this experiment was started, and how long this experiment is active. And leaderboard explains in detail which variant is winning based on number of visitors and the conversions which we got. So here you can see the original has certain number of visitor with this revenue, and a variation has a certain number of visitor with a limited revenue. So this means I believe this experimentation needs some more time to come to a conclusive result. So what we display in the detailed analysis, you can view the leaderboard in a graphical representation and toggle between different metrics based on the goals which you select. Since it is revenue goal, you can able to see the metrics relevant to revenue, like purchases, revenue per visit, revenue per purchase, or per paying visitor. And you can compare with the baseline and compare with the variant and understand how exactly the original and variations are performing. And you can select the time range to in which set of date you wanted to view this report for. And if you scroll down, the statistical table report will be displayed to easily understand what is the difference interval between original and variant, and what is the improvement percentage required for the variant, and how many visitors we require to decide which is going to winning this experimentation under the significance. And as I mentioned, in the heat map, you can toggle between original and variation to view the heat maps as well. And the next comes the split URL experimentation. So this is similar to A/B test, where the step one of this experimentation differs. So you have to provide which page you are going to experiment with and what is the variation page, which means you have two different website URL, and now we are going to compare two different web pages in split URL test and understand how and which page is actually interacted more and got higher conversion and declared as a winner. So only the step one of this experiment varies, and rest of the configuration and reporting part remains the same like A/B test. Moving into the personalization experimentation. So PageSense personalization feature helps you to create a customized experience for different set of audiences. So in this experimentation, you can exclusively showcase a specific view for a group of audience. Getting started, you have to provide which page you are going to personalize first. So let me personalize my home page, where I wanted to showcase a different set of product for the visitors who are coming from United States, and different set of product people coming from India, and different set of products people who are coming from UK. So once the target pages are declared, and here is where I start to create my experience. So creating experience is like a very interesting phase where you just provide the name and description for what we are going to create this experience for. The first option which we will be selecting here is to select the audience. Which set of audience we are going to target first? Either any of the preset or any of the custom audience we are going to create. So since I have an Indian audience custom segment which I have created earlier, so based on the location, I'm going to select this. And I'm going to create an experience using PageSense Visual Editor. And whatever the changes which I make here will be exclusively available only for the visitors who are coming from India. So for example, if I'm going to change the logo to a fine blue color, any visitor who are coming from India will be able to see this logo with a blue background. I can save these changes, and once I hit on done, my experience for Indian visitor will be created. Similarly, I also have like multiple option. Let's say like I have to target my web pages based on different age groups. PageSense offers two different custom dimensions, which is exclusively available only in the personalization experiment. So age is something which is about a user information you have in your database. So you can pass these information to Zoho PageSense using our user information custom code and just provide its key and value. So let's say if age is between or if age is equal to 20, and you can make your web page exclusive for the website visitors whose age is going to be 20. So this is kind of like a customization and a personalized target which you can make using the custom audience part. And similarly, you can create an experience for these group of audience as well. Once the experience are created, next comes the goals creation part, where how exactly the key elements which you are going to define as performing in different experiences. And in the summary, you can see what are all the changes you have made, and you are good to launch this experiment. In the reporting section, as soon as we start to get data, you can see what is the improvement percentage, which means how exactly the experience is getting higher reach, and the reach percentage, total visits have happened, how many personalized visits we have created so far, and how many days for this experiment has been running. And you can see the goal metrics across different experiences versus your actual website, and the conversion report between your actual website and the experience created page, and the reach and the audience overview as well. By default, in the personalization experimentation, you will be having this heat map option enabled, where you need not want to toggle any of the CTAs for this personalization part. Now, last but not the least, let's talk something about how we can boost the website engagement with the help of polls, push notification, and pop-up features. The polls are something where you can collect your real-time feedback from your visitor using a page survey or different set of questionnaires shooted on the web page. So here you can easily understand what are all the pain points customers are facing here, and what exactly they would like to share about the website appearance or anything which you wanted to collect from the visitors. So let me quickly take one of my web page where I have configured a poll. As soon as a website visitor is reaching my page, here is where like I can see a poll which I configured. So in PageSense polls, you can configure in a way based on the response which they have provided. You can put out your next question, what made them to opt for the score 2, or what made them to opt for score 8, and you can get the feedback, and you can do some kind of personalization based upon your website visitors feedback. So now let's see how we can configure this in our PageSense experimentation. So to getting started, you have to just select different set of questions which we provide inside the PageSense poll, and these are all the preset questions where you can select one, and you can also have a logic jump based on the previous answer, whatever the customer has provided. So let's say here in the net promoter score, if the question, if they have provided answer between 0 to 6, I can shoot them to a next question, or if they have provided like 9 to 10, I can just display a thank you message. So this logic jump will help you to understand moving a customer from one step to other step inside the poll itself. And you can have a quick preview of your poll here. And you can also visualize your poll. Either it should be on the bottom right or bottom left, and you can color your poll based upon your website appearance, and you can choose your theme according to your preference as well. And you also have an option to target these polls for a specific group of audience rather than targeting it for all visitors as well. So this audience customization is quite simple, similar to what we saw in the other experiments like session recording, A/B test, and split your test. And here is where the actual configuration comes into the picture. In which set of pages this poll should be visible, either only on my home page or in all the pages or only in the order confirmation page. And I can also trigger this poll in different criteria. Either it should be triggered on page entry, which means as soon as the page is loaded, or during the exit, or let's say, let's scroll the page half the down and then the poll can be visible, or with a specific delay, or based on any specific event activities. You also have an option to create your own custom trigger with and or logical operation with these available segments. So now we have set a trigger. What is going to happen after submitting a poll? Here comes the response behavior. You can provide how often the poll should be visible. Either it should be closed once they responded or not, or even if they responded, if the poll needs to be visible or not. These kind of customization can be done here, and the summary helps you with a quick gist of what you have configured. And once you launch the experiment, you will have two different reports. One is responses and the next one will be analysis. So response dashboard gives you an idea like how many visitors have submitted the poll and what are all their responses. And in the analysis, you can see how many visitors reached the configuration page, how many times the poll was visible, how many have successfully submitted the poll. And these are all the poll-based question metrics for a short references. And you have an option to export your poll details in the CSV format. And you can also push these data to other third-party applications or to any Zoho application using Zoho Flow or through Zapier's integration. Now let's talk about pop-ups. So pop-up helps you to have a real-time engagement with your website visitor, where you can create your customized pop-up for different scenarios, like for lead generation purpose, or to display about any promotional offers, or gathering feedback from the customer who are visiting your website. And the first step between the polls and pop-up will be different, and rest of the configuration will be the same. So let me quickly start configuring a poll. This is where you will be seeing what are all the different type of pop-up which we offer, with standard, slide-in, banner, and full screen for different categories as well. So if it is a sign-up pop-up, you can select any one of these, or for newsletter, you can go with any one of these options as well. So when you choose it, you will be able to see the pop-up which is appearing inside the pop-up editor part. So what are all the different customization PageSense editor offers? So you can change the image, so which goes along with your website configuration, and you can just change the color of the background. Let's say, like, let me just put with purple color, and I can also make changes for this specific background which goes with the color on the left hand side. And I can change the button configurations. If it has to be redirected to a specific URL, I can provide the destination URL after a sign up has happened. And I can also mark them as a conversion, where they will be known as a conversion in the reporting part. And I can also change the button color, which goes with the pop-up. So now I could see like there is a text with join our newsletter, where this text can also be edited based upon your preferred content. You have an option to toggle between multiple screens as well. So you can create 7 different screens, and you can make your visitor to move from one screen to other screen inside the pop-up itself. And you can preview in 2 different devices, and you can just view the overall pop-up editor setup by using the preview option. So once the configuration part is done, next comes the audience configuration, where you can select number of which set of audience you're going to target this experiment, and in which pages the pop-up should be visible, and how the trigger it should be triggered, and their response behavior as well. So now let's go ahead and launch this pop-up and check how exactly it looks like. I've created an exit intent pop-up. So if any visitor who are about to exit, where the cursor is going to close this tab, this pop-up will be appeared. So if I'm interested, I can provide the details, and I can sign up for a newsletter, and I can receive. And these data can also be pushed to any of the third-party CRM application or automation tools in order to follow up with them further. And these are all the different metrics, analysis, and responses you will be seeing from the pop-up report. So how many total visitors have visited the experimental page, how many times the pop-up was shown, what is the conversion and its conversion rate. And in the responses tab, you can see what are all if the pop-up comes up with different fields, and if they are provided any values to that, it will be available in the responses tab. And the last feature which I'll be talking about is push notification. Zoho PageSense offers web push notification where you can make a pop-up message, an inline messages or a very short messages to a visitor's browser, even if they are out of your website. So before configuring the experimentation part, you have to enable this allow user to subscribe. So it is kind of getting a consent from your website visitor to send these push messages to your browser. And this can be collected with 3 different ways, either by one-step opt-in. If you want this specific view to be displayed, you have to copy this code and save it in a file with the name of servers-worker.js, and it should go to your root directory of your website. Or let's say, if you do not have access to your website code, you can go with this 2-step opt-in, provide a subdomain where we help you with a parent and a child window, and any visitor who are accepting to receive the push messages, they become a subscriber for your business. And the last way is using custom notification, where you can add these code either to a button or a link to collect the subscribers. So kindly ensure only for the subscribers, the configured messages will be delivered to their browser. And only if the notification in their browser setting as well as in their OS settings are enabled, they can receive these messages. So let's quickly see how it can be configured. The push notification messages comes up with 3 different opt-in types, like one-time notification, or it should be in a recurring time, or if any of the project goal has been achieved, the notification should be triggered. And you can draft your message right here and provide, after clicking on that, where they have to be navigated. And if you would like to include any banner or icon, you can do the same here as well. Preview helps you to understand how it will be looking on specific device and specific OS too. And next, you can select your audience preferences and select a goal. And here comes the summary, and you can launch the experiment right away. So this messages will be popping up for your subscribers who have accepted to receive the push messages from your end. So these are all the key features of Zoho PageSense and its configuration and reporting part. So let me quickly share the other settings option which we have, where you can invite your users, like your collaborators, to be a part of these projects. Or they can, if you have a separate team to create something or edit something, based on different role, you can assign it to the specific user too. And these are the available integration for different purposes, where Google Tag Manager helps you to connect your website with PageSense, and any kind of coding things to be added in your website. Google Tag Manager is going to act as a bridge between the Shopify store and the PageSense application. So like mentioned in the A/B test and split URL test, those data can be pushed to Google Analytics, Kissmetrics, Mixpanel, and to Amplitude. And we do have direct integration with Sales IQ applications and Intercom, where these both are chatbot application. So once they are integrated, the configured goals and the session recording data will be pushed from PageSense to the end application. So apart from this, we have OpenAI integration, where you can make use in the visual editor part to draft your own content with the help of AI. And Google AdWord integration in goals, funnel analysis, and form analytics will help you to understand how many visitors who reached your website through a Google AdWords, and the reporting part in the application, the PageSense application itself. And apart from this, you can also have a different project settings, like you can have your additional code, which for where you don't have permission for your website code, you can just write the code here, which will be reflecting in your website. You can exclude certain IP ranges if you do not want them to be tracked in any of the projects. And you can group certain web pages together in one group. And let's say if a specific 4 or 5 ad campaign URLs are going to be targeted again and again in multiple experiments, rather than configuring it one by one, you can just create a group and call them immediately during the configuration. And PageSense allows you to track cross-domain as well. So by enabling this cross-domain tracking, you can just track the visitor's behavior across multiple domains, provided the same project snippet is added in both the applications. As PageSense adhere to GDPR, like mentioned, we help you with 3 different options to display your privacy banner, where you can just notify them with accept and deny button, or just notify them and do not allow them to opt out as well. And along with that, we also adhere to HIPAA compliance. Any health related information will not be sent out from the application when it is enabled. And the project info helps you to understand in which data center your data is getting saved, and what is the project key and the space name. And this is all about Zoho PageSense for you in detail, how you can make use of PageSense for your Shopify storefront and identify the potential area for optimization to drive more conversion. Thank you, Aarti. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Malti, for the detailed walkthrough. So this is a pricing plan. We start at $12 per month billed annually, and all our plans are designed to suit different business goals with unique plans available for every business size. And we're also offering flat 40% off globally on all our annual subscription plans. And not just that, as already I mentioned earlier in all our social media posts, all the webinar registrants will be getting a 2-month extension of a trial plan. And that's it from our end. Please feel free to ask any questions. Our support team is right with us online to answer them. Thank you so much.